Good morning, everyone. It is 10:01, and I will call this Board of Fire Commissioners meeting to order. We will start with a salute to the flag. If we could have Acting Chief Way please lead us in the salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Chief. We'll now do our roll call. Madam Clerk.
Alexis Hill, Chair.
Here.
Jeannie Herman appears to be absent. Michael Clark appears to be absent. Mary Luz Garcia.
Here.
Clara Andriola.
Present.
Interim Fire Chief Dale Way.
Here.
Deputy District Attorney Michael Large.
Present.
And I'm Kathy Smith, Chief Deputy Clerk. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We'll now move into item 3, which is our public comment. Chief Way.
Item number 3 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment, Madam Clerk?
No, unless I did.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move into item 4. Chief Way.
Item number 4 is Commissioners, Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Thank you. Do you have anything for us, Chief?
I do. At Commissioner Andriola's prior request for information on the insurance issue that's plaguing a lot of regions like ours, we will be gathering information and bringing that back for presentation in April.
Thank you so much. That's great news. I look to the commission. Commissioner Garcia, no. Commissioner Andriola, do you have anything? Thank you. Okay. I do not have anything either, so we'll now move into our consent items. Looking at the consent 1 through D, do any commissioners have any items that they'd like to pull? I'm not seeing any. Is there any public comment on consent, Madam Clerk?
There is none.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion, please. Thank you, Commissioner Andriola.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes unanimously. We'll now move into item 6, and Chief Way.
Item number 6 is the International Association of Firefighters Local 2487 report for discussion only.
Thank you very much. Come on up.
Thank you, Jim Clauser, President, Local 2487. That came really fast. I thought it was going to take a few more minutes before that. All right. First up, we'd like to just make a public statement and awareness that we have our Guns and Hoses tournament coming up. It's a golf tournament. It's a friendly thing between police, fire. It is for Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. Everyone's welcome to play. We take all comers. It turns out to be a really fun event. I hope I see a lot of people there. We usually get a pretty good turnout, and it raises a significant amount of money for that foundation, so that's really important. We opened up our negotiations for the coming year. Both letters were sent and received, just to make the board aware. I want to give out a public thank you to Tom Dunn and Dan Tapia from 731 for bringing to my attention that there have been lots of local leaders meeting to discuss Truckee Meadows' essentially fate with consolidation or regionalization. I also want to thank the board for participating in the meeting on Thursday. I think some of you or many of you are going to be there. We will also be there. But it was thanks to 731 to bringing this to our attention, because up to that point, we had no idea they were having these meetings. So it's a really stand-up move on their part to have reached out to me personally to say, hey, we think this is something you should probably be part of and be aware of. So I just want to thank them.
I don't think we knew about those meetings either. So.
I don't think you did either.
But that's great. I'm glad, and I'm glad you're going to be there on Thursday. We really want to make sure that labor is part of the discussion.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like I said, thank you to you guys for participating in that too. It's important that we're all kind of on the same page with a lot of this. The recruitment, we've met with the recruiter for the new chief position. Fantastic. We had a great meeting. I've already sat down with one potential candidate. We're going to do our kind of own net casting, if you will. She's going to work on her end. We'll work on ours. So we hopefully get as many good candidates as we can.
Great. And guns and hoses, what is the date again? I'm sorry, I didn't write it down.
April 21st?
Okay.
17th, sorry, April 17th.
17th. Okay. And what golf course? I'm sorry.
Is that Red Hawk?
Very good questions. I know we used to do it at one and no longer do it
Shoot
there.
us an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We'll
had
put it out.
fun.
And we'll put it out publicly on our
Okay.
social media so anyone can see as it
Wonderful.
gets closer to the event.
Any other board questions for our president? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We will now move into item 7. Chief.
Item number 7 is the fire chief's report for discussion only. In letter A, informational briefing on operational matters and activities for January 2025 and February 2025. And the first one is a capital projects update. The district is currently managing 2 large capital projects, Fire Station 37, Phase 2, which is an addition of over 1,400 square feet of apparatus bay, storage areas, a watch desk, and that is progressing on schedule.
Great.
The old apparatus bay has been demolished, the dirt work compaction tests are being completed. Work's being done on the water line there from the golf course. It's moving along without issue. Barring any unforeseen delays, we expect to occupy the addition by November of this year. And it remains staffed and operational 24/7, thanks to our firefighters who are diligently working with construction crews every step of the way. The second is the district will be hosting a groundbreaking that was supposed to be on the 5th, tomorrow, for Station 35, Apple, but due to the weather, we have delayed that to a future date. Item number 2 on the fire chief's report is kind of just a recap on the Los Angeles fires. I know we had a few calls and concerns about that. You know, one of the things I wanted to make clear to people is we already did have a very similar incident like that. It was called the Davis Fire. And I think that we mounted a really good response to that. And our crews did really good work. And the fire lines held. And Mother Nature kind of played into our hands a little bit too and didn't give us quite as bad a wind as was predicted. During the LA fires, there were people calling 911 for fires that were right near them or their home. And there were no more resources to send initially. Some of the same similar problems that we encounter here with major things like that turn into a firestorm. You know, and this will happen during those notifications. Another thing I think that we've heard about is people receiving notifications that weren't in the general area. Well, they had notifications go out to up to 10 million unaffected people. So I think that, again, our response with the Callahan and the Davis fires was much more targeted. And sure, there's always going to be a few people who may view themselves as unaffected, but that's just the nature of the beast. Number 3 is the budget calendar, which is in there included. It's budget time again, so we will be starting here this next week on getting supplemental budget requests and starting to develop our budget, which will have a second meeting in May for the final budget, just to let you know ahead of time. Next up is the Fire Academy update. We just graduated 5 people from the Capital City Regional Fire Academy, 24-2, last Friday, and 7 separate agencies participated, which included our graduates. Everybody received firefighter 1 and 2 instruction related to structural fires, vehicle fires, wildland fires, rope rescue, auto extrication. Each of our recruits will go through an additional 100 hours of training, which it will include emergency medical scenarios, water tender operations, specifically addressing the needs of TMFPD. And then they will be assigned to their 1-year probationary period, switching between our various stations. And that's all. Oh, I'm sorry. Just as a reminder, there will be no March Board of Fire Commissioner meeting.
Okay, great. Yes, Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On item number 2, the LA fire, can you talk to us a little bit about what happens internally within TM after there's a large-scale event, either in Maui or LA, these high-profile incidents? What do we do here internally to learn from and analyze those events?
Well, with the Davis fire specifically, there was an after-action report that was done amongst all the agencies in the region to show how we responded, were there things we could do better, what will we do better? And a lot of those comments came from that, right, is the notifications from emergency management. Obviously, we didn't have anywhere near 10 million people that were unaffected, but we had a few. And I think that every time we use that perimeter software, I think it's getting better, from what I've seen.
Thank you. And Commissioner Andriola? Okay. Thank you for the update, Chief. And anything else for us?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. We'll now move into item 8. Chief?
Item number 8 is a recommendation to accept a hazard mitigation grant program award from the United States Federal Emergency Management Agency in an amount up to $992,036 with a match component of up to $330,678.67 over a 36-month period to treat hazardous fuels in the Joy Lake Road area within Washoe County. This is in Commission Districts 1 and 2 for possible action.
Do you have any further information other than obviously what was contained in the
I do.
staff
We have
report?
Chief McInturf is available for a staff report.
Great.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, John McInturf, Wildland Battalion Chief. So for this grant, it comes from the FMAG that's declared for the Joy Lake Fire. It's the back portion of the money paid out from that. So as you look on the board, we're requesting $990,000 to treat about 160 acres and 200 parcels in the Joy Lake area. And then we're also venturing out to do some mistletoe ratification and treating about 400 trees up there. So the match component is our equipment expenditures of what our daily and hourly rates are. And so it's not us charging that money or, paying that money forward. It's what we bill typically for a project.
Great. Well, this is wonderful work, needs to be done. I look to the board to see if there's any questions, and we really appreciate this. This plays into the questions on the LA fire and the Davis fire and the work that we're doing at TM to really do some fire prevention around here.
And all the work will be done in District 2, but benefits District 1 just because of our southwest winds that prevail.
Yes.
So.
It's wonderful and benefits the whole county, certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. All
No
right.
problem. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, any public comment on this item?
There is none.
Okay, and if there's no other commissioner comments, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Andriola. Any questions or additional comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes unanimously. I will now move into item 9, Chief Way.
Item number 9 is a recommendation to approve an addendum to an interlocal agreement between Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District and Washoe County, providing financing, development, operation, and management of a regional communications P25 public safety radio system. The total cost to the district for the addendum to the interlocal agreement is $178,228.84 to be made in 2 payments over fiscal year 25-26 for $92,153.84 and fiscal year 26-27 for $86,075. This is all commission districts and for possible action.
And Chief Way, do you have any additional information for us beyond the staff report on this?
Yes, this goes back to, in March of 2020, the Board of Fire Commissioners approved the interlocal agreement between us and Washoe County, between TM and Washoe County, to provide for the financing for this new radio system. And this is just an addendum with additional costs.
Okay. Any questions from the board on this? Not seeing any. Any public comment, Madam Clerk?
There is none.
Okay, thank you. I am looking for a motion on this item, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Andriola.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And That motion passes unanimously. We'll now move into item 10. Chief Way.
Item number 10 is discussion and possible direction to staff, including authorizing staff to author written communications to the legislature in opposition or support on behalf of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Board of Fire Commissioners regarding legislative issues proposed by legislators or by other entities permitted by the Nevada State Legislature to submit bill draft requests or such legislative issues as may be deemed by the chair or board to be of critical significance to Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. This is all districts and for possible action.
And Chief Way, we've never really had to do this previously. I mean, this, I officially, from the board, from my remembrance of future or past legislative sessions, so maybe you give us a little bit of context on this.
Right, with the upcoming concurrent meeting here on Thursday, it was determined that we needed to hire a lobbyist for our entity to represent us through the legislative session.
And when you can, you'll bring items to the board for official, full board approval or concern, but when you can't, you're asking for the chair to work with the chief on that.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, looking to see if there's any questions from the board. Commissioner Andriola.
I would just want to clarify, just in terms of it coming back, is there going to be a policy included, just legislative policy, so that everyone understands where their roles and responsibilities are, so there isn't any unintended consequences of just inadvertently kind of going over the top of each other? The county has a policy, and I'm just wondering if that could be considered, just for clarification, so all parties know what their roles and responsibilities are, to keep a streamlined approach and not have any confusion.
Since this is new to us, we'll use the county policy, which we've done on a number of occasions and still do.
Madam Chair, it might need additional tweaking in terms of the relevance of Truckee Meadows Fire. So thank you for taking the time to do that.
Correct. Also, this will be a regular item on our agenda through the legislative session.
Great.
Great.
And I think what we found with our lobbyist is sometimes she has to go and testify without consulting anyone on the board or the vice chair or chair, and because things are happening in that moment. So that policy guides her. And so I think that's what Commissioner Andreola is really looking for, to make sure we are all on the same page and we're not going rogue, although, Chief, I know you don't want to do that, so.
Understood.
Okay, so maybe we can see that at our, well, we have March is canceled. But yes, perhaps you can work on that and we see it in April, even though that will be a little later in the game, but still to have it will be good. Thank you.
We don't need any additional fires.
There you go.
I couldn't resist. Couldn't resist.
Great idea, Commissioner Andriola. Commissioner Garcia, do you have anything else?
No, I'm very
Okay.
supportive of that last recommendation. Thank you.
Wonderful. And looking to Mr. Large, do you want us to make a motion on that item, or?
It's deemed for possible action. I would make a motion on it, and I would also add in there, as you've stated, that we update the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District legislative policy to mirror Washoe County with additions and subtractions as necessary. And I'm happy to work with Chief Way on that.
Thank you. That's great. And Madam Clerk, is there any public comment on this item?
There is not.
Thank you. I am looking for a motion from the board.
I'll move to approve, as stated eloquently by Mike Large.
Thank you.
And I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And that motion passes unanimously. Do we need a closed session today?
We do not.
Okay, great. We will now move into item 12, Chief Way.
Item 12 is Commissioners and Fire Chiefs' announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Do you have anything for us?
I have nothing else.
Okay, and Commissioner Garcia?
We're at 20 minutes, and I believe it was 19 minutes total. So you set the bar very high for your first meeting.
Yes,
Thank you.
great job, Chief Way. And Commissioner Andriola?
I'm going for it, nothing to add.
Okay. Looking to move to item 13, our final public comment, Chief Way.
Item 13 is public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, any public comment?
No one is signed in.
Okay, thank you. Well, we had a 21-minute board meeting. Thank you, everyone, for getting a lot of work done and all the great cooperation. With that, we are adjourned.